Hello everybody, this is Dean. Today we're going to look at the Market Movers tab. In the last video we looked at today's market tab, and before we start I just want to point out that you can get 20% off Koyfin paid plans in the link in the description. In the Market Movers tab, which is the second tab you find on the menu on the left in Koyfin, you basically see what stocks have been moving in a 1 day period in percentages relative to their 10-day average volume, so that the past 10 days, and it's displayed as a scatter chart, right? It's not your linear normal chart. You have a scatter plot, as you can see on the screen. Now you can select which pool of stock you want to have a look at. So you go to the top left there and you have a little list. So you can choose between the Nasdaq 100 technology list, so you'll have the 100 stocks in the technology sector. Then you have the S&P 100, so this is the mega caps. Then you have your normal standard S&P 500, so the US core. Then you have your Russell 1000, which is the large cap. Then you have your Russell 2000, which is the small cap. And then you do have a choice, strangely, for MSCI Canada. Okay, I don't know why they put Canada there. They didn't put any other ETFs for other countries. However, you can find any ETF you want, because that's the thing with Koyfin that's great, is that they have very deep data, and they have very intricate and high-level data for individual ETFs. So you can pull any US ETF from here. If you click here, you can choose, I don't know, any ETF from BlackRock that you like, and it will populate the market movers for the constituents of that ETF. You can also put any watch list you may have, and we're going to talk in a future video the importance of watch lists on the Koyfin platform, because when you see the word watch lists essentially on Koyfin, that means your list. Simply, you have to think of it as your different lists that you've built, and you can, on the paid plan, you can build as many lists as you want. On the free plan, you're only allowed to build 2 lists or watch lists. Now, the great thing is you can, for example, use the screener, which again we will see in another video. For example, in here I have the French industrials, which is essentially a simple screening of French equities in the industrials sector. Okay, and I could populate this here. However, you can only use this feature and the ETF feature, so the watch list and ETFs, on a paid plan. So on the free plan, you're only allowed to look at these super indices from the US, which is plenty already. Right now we're on the Nasdaq 100, but if I scroll through to a bigger pool with more constituents, for example the S&P 500, you will see they will get much more results, and you can then manipulate the scatter plot to fit your sizing correctly, because sometimes you have data points that are way out in terms of relative volume in the last 10 days, which means there was a huge move in respect or in comparison with the previous 10 days in terms of volume. As you can see on the chart, if I go to the right there, we have Win, so Win Resorts, and if you hover over, you can see a little chart. It's the historical chart, not the performance chart of Koyfin, which shows you a candlestick chart. And basically here it's 4.3 times higher than the average volume in the last 10 days, as you can see displayed on the chart. Now let's say we want to change this slightly differently so that it fits the screen better. First of all, you can slide down this middle portion so we can see the scatter plot is slightly better. And then I want to focus on this area where the most of the S&P 500 companies are. So what I would do is I would go to the cog wheel on the relative volume section. I would, before that, maybe identify where I want my chart to be. And I guess I will stop at 2 times relative volume and ignore anything after that for the moment. So I could select here, and in the maximum value I'm gonna put 2 times. Press enter. Great. In the minimum value I'm gonna put 0.3, like so. And I want to do this the same for the y-axis there. I guess I'm going to put the top around here, around the 4%. So let's just put 4% here. And at the bottom, we'll put -4%. Like so. And therefore, I have a much more tailored visual effect. And as you can see, a lot of these dots are moving around because this is a dynamic chart and it's linked to real prices. At the moment I'm recording the video while the US stock market is open. And I want to show something else that you can do. It's in the top right corner, which is very interesting. You can select a filter by sector. So we're on the aggregate of all the constituents of the S&P 500. Let's say I want to isolate a single sector, for example, consumer discretionary. I would select this, and now I have isolated the consumer discretionary sector. Now, as you can see, it removed my settings where I tried to zoom in on one area. So you'll have to do that again once you switch. But as you can see, this is a great feature, especially if you go into the lists that are quite heavy, for example, the Russell 2000. Now, the other thing you can do is you can filter by pre-market, live market, and post-market. So you can select here, for example, pre-market, and you'll see the movers before the market open during the day. And similarly, you can select post-market to see what's the stock that have moved after the market close. So in this instance, for example, this is in relation to yesterday. All right. So I'm sure you can think of all the different ways you can use this, right? It's obviously just for a one-day return. You cannot edit these two variables. However, we will see later there's another area in Koyfin where you can build your own scatter plots and actually edit these two variables there, these two settings. So that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, I'm going to tell you and show you about the importance of watch lists on Koyfin.